What's going on, everyone? This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D, coming to you with our newly named Wisdom Talks on Monday at 10 a.m. It's going to be a little bit more difficult doing these at this time. I may have to shift the time because of the work schedule, but I do want to stay consistent with what we've been communicating. And so, hope everyone had a great weekend. Man, this Super Bowl was something else. It did not turn out as I expected it to, but sports is surprising, in particular in a year where COVID is dominating. You just don't know. And so I definitely want to see the Chiefs win another one. Brady has enough rings, but you can't deny that the man just knows how to win football games. I don't understand it. I've never seen anything like it. And the reality is, chances are, the way he played yesterday, he'll come back and win another one. So he's going to set the bar so high that nobody will ever be able to surpass it. No team, you think about it, he's won more Super Bowls than most teams. I mean, by himself, and so it's just really amazing. So welcome, everyone. Good welcome, Patricia. If you feel led to, just go ahead and pop your name in the chat feature here. I may be able to see it. I may not. I'm not sure. Based upon how this is structured, sometimes you can see it. I get thousands of people to say they saw the show, and I'm like, okay, but I look in the thing, and there's like only 100 people that that in the that tells us how many people are watching. So, also just let you know, I'm going to start trying to do something on Fridays. I'm working out the details, and I'm going to test it this week, where we talk a lot about an area of work that we're doing a lot of work in, and that's equity. And so, hey, Letitia, how you doing? And so Fridays, we're thinking about making a lunch and learn. I'm going to probably test it out this Friday at noon and see how it goes. So but we're going to really dig deep, into this whole thing of equity. Is different than anything you've ever heard relating to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it's something you or your teams may want to chime in on, because we're going to be giving some great insights. So, hey, Henry, man, good to see you. Man, it's been a long time, and hope you're still using that voice to make a difference, man. I remember you very well. And Letitia, thank you for jumping on board. It's just good to see so many people. Hey, Sherelle, good to see you. And hope that this show is something special. Give me just a moment. There's one thing I do want to do here, because last week a few people said they couldn't get in. And I want to make sure we got everything we need done here, to make sure that people, just 1 second, please. If you can just hang in there with me, I want to make sure. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so we're good. All right. So, hey, Dr. Rochelle, good to see you. And so let's dive right on in. This topic here, for those who kind of follow what I'm doing, recently my daughter was on the Kelly Clarkson show, and I think I posted it on the virtual workforce development. I'm not sure if I did or not, but I posted it to most of the other social media sites. And I'm going to see if I could. I don't know if we could share this. Let me see if I can share my this with you. Now, let me see if that's possible. I don't think it's let me see. No. Oh yeah, here it is. Yep. I want to take a moment. I'm going to digress, hey Shona, and share just a few moments of this with you. Hopefully you can see it okay, and get a chance to see my baby girl, because this is going to be a great foundation to what I'm going to talk about, is raising and teaching champion children, which I think is one of the this is one of the serious messages of our generation. We've got to take raising champion children, teaching champion children seriously. We can't continue to leave young people in the backdrop, and whatever happens. And no, we need to be intentional in the way we raise our children, the way we teach our children. I think I mentioned, we had one of the most successful workforce development youth programs in the United States. And we had lots of kids we were working with. But the reality is, we weren't their parents. We just were running a program, but we treated them with the same care and compassion that their parents cared for them. And we had a problem after a while, because we only had capacity for so many young people, and the young people themselves started to recruit their friends, and we just couldn't get them all in. So if you work with youth, if you don't work with youth, if you care about youth, If you're a parent, you want to listen to this. And so I'm going to show you my daughter because before I show the video, I just want to preface this. This is not me bragging. I'm not. I love my children. Some people do, I guess, would consider it bragging, but I just believe that since we were so focused in on raising purposeful children, that it's great at this stage of my life to see the fruit of what we intentionally did years ago. My daughter was raised with purpose. Born with purpose in her eyes. I never forget, as a baby, she just had this look that I just never seen a kid with that look at birth. It was incredible. Something that was in her eyes that I said, man, this is a special child. And I remember telling my wife, I said, something special about this girl. She was doing what's called, if you're a parent, it takes a while for kids to track. She was tracking me going from side to side as I was doing my head, going like this and like this. She tracked me at birth. And I said, okay, God, what you got for us here? This one here is something special. All my kids are special. But I thought that was unique. So I'm going to show a little bit of this video. I might show it all. Dr. Rochelle says she didn't see it, so I may show it all. It's only like 10 minutes. Let's enjoy seeing a young person maximizing their potential. All right, here we go. I wish I can see if y'all can see this or not. I don't know if the way this is set up, I can't tell. All right.
14, she took a life-changing trip to an orphanage in Kenya. She immediately felt a deep connection to the kids and the nation. So she launched at 14 a nonprofit to share her love of ballet and the arts with children who lived half a world away. She knows what it is to be the difference. All right, everybody from Ngoma, Kenya, please say hi to Sophia Andrews. Hello. You are, first of all, let me just say how remarkable you are. God, to start something like that at 14 is incredible. And it says a lot about your character and your heart and your soul. So that you already had a leg up there at 14. So tell us about that first Kenya trip.
Yeah, when I was 14 years old, I had the opportunity to travel to Kenya with a group to visit Happy Life Children's Home, where I sponsored a little girl named Esther. And stepping onto Kenyan soil for the first time was just life-changing, especially as a Black American, having never traveled to Africa before. And so while I was there, I got to meet Esther for the first time and all of her friends that lived with her. And I got to help them prepare their meals and do chores around the home with the staff. And I found out that they had a love of ballet and music, short little ballet class to the kids, and they absolutely loved it. And unfortunately, in Kenya, they do struggle with a culture of abandonment where mothers will often give up their babies, which is how a lot of these children ended up at the children's home. And so hearing their stories touched me deeply, and I knew I couldn't leave that experience on the plane. I wanted to do more.
I mean, and also while you're saying that, you have also the most beautiful smile. It is so welcoming and warm. I have to say that. I was like, all the things you're saying are so beautiful. And I'm like, and it's coming from such a beautiful light and spirit. You actually started raising money for the kids as well, right?
Yes, when I got back from that first trip, I decided to do a fundraiser to help the children's home with their 6th grade class. And we needed to raise books, and we tripled the amount of money needed in 24 hours. And so I decided to do another fundraiser in 2017 because I wanted to go back and teach ballet. And so I got donations and received ballet shoes and traveled to Kenya with my mom for 2 weeks to teach ballet. And it started off a little bit chaotic in a small room. It was pretty crowded, and the kids loved the dance classes. And I think that it was just a great way for them to have that after class. And we did it during class breaks, on the weekends, whenever they could squeeze in a ballet class, we would do it. And that's how the nonprofit Ngoma Kenya got its start. And in Kenya, they speak Swahili. So Ngoma means to dance and to sing.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, Ngoma Kenya has really grown since you started it, right?
It has. It's grown so much. So I've had to structure it in a way where I can support it here in the States. I started it as a freshman in high school, and now I'm a freshman in college studying international relations. And so I have a board of directors, a youth advisory committee, and a team that just deals with all the day-to-day work. And even though it started with just ballet, we've incorporated all aspects of the arts. And so now we focus on 3 main things, which are orphan care advocacy, arts education, and girls' rights. So the local Kenyan community has been so supportive of this work and keeping things running while I'm not there. And while I'm here in the States, I fundraise so that way when I go back to Kenya, I can take stuff with me. And I've been about 9 or 10 times now. I've kind of lost count, but before COVID, I've tried to go as often as I can.
Well, speaking of COVID, how has the pandemic kind of affected everything?
Yeah, things were getting really exciting before COVID hit, and then shutdowns happened throughout the country, so we had to put a pause on the dance lessons. And I reached out to a team member, and he told me about just how bad things had been on the ground. So we decided we wanted to help not just the children, but the surrounding communities. So we launched a feeding program that ran from March all the way into July. And during that time, we were able to supply community members, some of them that hadn't even eaten in 2 to 3 days. And so not only did we supply them with food, but we went back with sanitary supplies for the girls and masks and just all those different things. So once the pandemic passes, we're excited to get back into the swing of things and get classes going.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing to have that distraction, that beautiful kind of art that takes them away, but that's a real perspective that you're given as well, like walking into that situation. Sophia, how have you seen the kids change through the arts?
I always say that not every child is going to grow up to become a professional ballerina or a musician, but I understand the importance that the arts have on them now, and it's a great way for them to build friendships, and I've seen them grow over the years, and they're just having so much fun, which is important for kids who have been through so much in their young lives and dealt with so much trauma and abandonment. And one little girl in particular, whose name is Faith, has grown a lot in the classes, and I've just seen her love for ballet, and every time I visit, she'll show me a new move, or she'll tell me about how she saw this ballerina on TV is like Misty Copeland and Michaela DePrince. And so it's a space for the kids to just decompress, forget about everything going on in the world, and have fun through dance and feel like they're part of something bigger.
Absolutely. It's even like, I mean, I was never going to be a professional, any kind of athlete, but I loved playing. And I thought that it taught, team spirit and, being a part of something bigger than just you, and also the discipline to train for something, and then just feeling of being able to actually follow through and do it. So I think all of that's very true for dancing as well. So you have a great team, and they actually wanted to let you know just how special you are to them and the kids. So they sent us this video. You want to see it?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Jambo, Sophia.
Hey, habari Sophia. How are you? Hope you're doing well.
We would just love to say how much we love you. Thank you for choosing to change the lives of the children out here in Kenya.
You've given them the opportunity to dream, the chance to follow those dreams. You've given them hope. You've given them joy.
They love you. They miss you.
We as the young people, we as the leaders of Ngoma Kenya, we really appreciate you so very much
for being a young lady that is motivated to help the people who are in need.
We love you and God bless you. Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, he said, "Mwah, kisses." I love it. How does that make you feel hearing that? That's a cool impact.
It feels so good. Man, I haven't been able to go back to Kenya to seeing their faces. It just makes me so happy. It's gonna make me cry. I miss them all so much. So, oh my goodness, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, no, that was all you, girl. You're the one that they wanted to do that for. But that's actually not our only surprise. We have someone here who's heard all about Sophia's work and wants to meet her. So I'm talking about Misty Copeland. Come on in here.
Oh my
I'll meet Sophia.
I'm over here crying. It's so powerful what you're doing. And I completely can relate to everything that you've worked for and the impact that it's having on so many lives. I'm so proud of you. I've spent time in Rwanda through a similar program called Mind Leaps, and working with street kids and abandoned kids, and showing them that art can give you so many skills. And like you said, it's not just about becoming a professional dancer, but teaching you social skills and your cognitive skills. And I'm just so unbelievably impressed with your ability to see beyond you and beyond, maybe what you wanted to do as a dancer, but you're impacting, it's so much bigger than you, and you're impacting so many lives. I hope I can travel with you one day and meet all of the kids.
Sophia, how does that make you feel?
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Like, you're my hero. Like, you don't understand how happy this makes me. Like, getting to talk to you and your words of encouragement just mean everything to me. I so appreciate it. And the kids love you. They know who you are. And we'd love to have you teach them ballet one day.
I would love that.
Well, Sophia, how do you hope to expand your program in the future?
Yes, our goal is to bring dance all throughout Kenya, and I'd love to create a performing arts center so that way kids can not only have access to the arts, but we can also meet any other basic needs. And eventually we'd love to take a group on tour throughout Kenya and the States, and we're getting closer to that goal every day. And I want to move to Kenya after I graduate college to continue this work.
Oh, that's amazing. And I know, it's like, I love how big you've been dreaming since you were 14. I cannot wait to see what you do with the rest of your life. I'm just going to sit back and watch. Or help. You just let me know. But good news, we actually reached out to our friends at Canva, a free online platform that makes it super easy to design and collaborate. Whether you're a nonprofit, a teacher, a student, or any size business, you can create a free account and use Canva's design templates to create social media graphics, presentations, t-shirts, videos, and more. To help you realize your dream of bringing ballet to children in Kenya, they are hooking you up with a Canva account for nonprofits and donating $25,000 to help with that. How do you feel about that?
Oh my, you make all graphics to Canva. Like, I'm gonna cry. Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
Absolutely. You are a fantastic human. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for what you do for others. You as well, Misty. Thank you, guys. This has been a privilege to have you both on the show. I cannot wait to see you on the show next, see what you've been doing.
You.
Changing the world.
All righty. Let me see if I can get this out of the way. All right. So I kind of decided I'll show the whole thing. Why not? I was just going to show a few moments of it. But today, I know a lot of you out there work with youth, and just wanted to show you, one thing that's always been big for me is no matter what I do, the training and development, coaching, whatever, I always want to practice what I preach. A lot of people are preaching, but they don't practice. A lot of times they might even have any experience at things, but they're telling other people how to do things. I've always been big on, practice what you preach. And I've always talked about kids and purpose. I've always talked about helping young people maximize their potential. We've been to thousands of schools and school districts doing assemblies and training programs. Countless, matter of fact, today I'm doing something with a program that has is involved with helping youth get into college for the first time. So I'm going to keep this short and brief, but I want to lay a foundation by letting you see that we're not just saying this, we're doing it. And my hope is that we'll have more young people, more adults out here who are bent on helping young people maximize their potential, to find their purpose in life and to run with it. One of my missions in my work is to accomplish that goal. I want to see thousands, tens of thousands of young people identify where their giftings are and use those giftings to make a difference on the planet. Let me say this. I talk to school districts all the time and school superintendents and state superintendents. I said, you know what? I am not obviously the expert in this, but realistically, I'm not necessarily about my kids getting straight A's in math and science and reading and arithmetic and all that, because that might not even apply to their lives. I want them to give it their best. But what I really want them to do is find what they're gifted at and master in that. Be the master of that. I'm serious. Be all those other things help, but be the master of that. And when you look at people who are impacting our world or impacting our communities, typically there's a lane that they're running in. You know what I mean? And we want to do that with our young people. A lot of our young people are frustrated because they feel like they're being forced to do something that does not connect what they're gifted to do. And so that's why, like some of these schools, I think there's a school district that was a charter school system was created called the Mets. And the Mets focused a lot on academics and purpose and connected it. And then I remember in San Diego one time, I was speaking to a school district leader out there, and they were telling me that they had 4 large high schools and they broke it up into like 16 small schools, all based upon student affinities. And their test scores and everything went up as a result. So it's really important to do this. So let me give you a few strategies. Number one, your children were not born to do what you do. Now, this is going to hurt a lot of people out there because some of you want your kids to become what you are, you know, a doctor, a lawyer. You're going to take over my practice. You're going to go to medical school like I'm going to medical school. And that's what you're going to do. Well, think about it. In doing that, you are forcing someone to become something they did not wire to do. Now, some kids do grow up and fall in love with what their parents are doing, and they take on a similar interest. That's a beautiful thing. And then some, you know, in some cases, they'll go in and they'll take over practices, or they'll go work with them, or whatever, things of that nature. But the true gift that Jim Rohn shared this with me many, many years ago. Many of you know Jim. He was one of the greatest speakers that ever existed out there. Jim said, you know, the greatest gift you can give a kid is the gift of purpose. And he was talking about how his mom and dad gave he and his siblings the gift of purpose. And that's a powerful gift to give young people. And so even in our workforce programs, and you know, which had a education component because we were focused on dropout prevention and academic improvement and things of that nature, we had tremendous success because we wrapped everything we did around their individual affinities. We actually did assessments to see where these young people were and what their interests were, inventories. And we really customized all of their interactions with us around those inventories, around their giftings. And it made doing what we do something they want to be a part of. It wasn't like us saying to them, well, you know, you just need to get grades. They go, well, why should I get good grades? If you can't tell people the why, then, you know, what is like, you know, they don't want to hear that stuff. So keep in mind, that's a great gift that you give kids when you give them the great gift of purpose and support them. Like when my son was younger, use another example, he just was interested in art. And I jokingly have told many of you, I would come home and I would see artwork all over my walls. It was all over the walls. And I would say, man, he had a nice day of drawing today. And so I told my wife, I said, why don't we paint the walls? Yeah, you know, paint the walls. And so he can draw on the walls, you know, and I said, let's let him keep doing it. That's what because we paint the walls with erasable paint, I should say. And so last year he graduated from the #1 art and animation school in the United States, Ringling College of Art and Design, because we just realized that's what he was gifted at doing. So many times we're always trying to just want to see kids good grades. I get that. That's good. And we applaud the kid in our home that comes home with straight A's, and we go at the kid that doesn't, and we don't realize the kid that doesn't have the good grades can turn out and do a whole lot more with their lives. Seriously, I wasn't the best student in the world. I wasn't. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I got by. I did okay, but now I consult and train and work with some of the largest organizations in the world. And you know, and so we can't say that just because that kid. Once we find out what a kid's gifting is, then it's like, okay. You know, for some kids, like if they're going to be a professor, if they're going to be a doctor, if they're going to be a lawyer, and they need certain academic outcomes to achieve that, yeah, okay, I get it. But some kids are going to be in fields where they don't necessarily need to be the best at that. But we won't know that and then when we find that out, then we just support them where they are. Support them where they are. Get them involved with programs, groups, clubs, volunteer opportunities based upon what their affinities are. That's what we've done with all of our children. What you saw with Sophia a few moments ago, she volunteered a lot with dance, and you know, what she was doing in Ngoma, Kenya is about volunteerism. You know, so find that lane. The next thing, I have a book entitled The Parent is Coach, Developing a Family Dream Team. The Parent is Coach, Developing a Family Dream Team. And one thing I talk about in there is that the dream team is what I call assistant coaches. And assistant coaches are people who you surround your kids with. In our programs, we surrounded them with role models. So in my home, we surround them with other people. I created something called Dads United, and you know, I had all these dads. We were working together every month. We would get together with our kids and work with them. And my wife created something where the kids were going and interacting with their peers, you know, and taking and going to different, you know, field trip type things, and they were with other moms, and so the point I'm making is that, you know, in my home, we have systems in place to engage and help our kids, you know, benefit from other people, be it, you know, other dads or other moms, or in ministry, you know, different youth pastors and whatever. And in the community leaders, things like that. Those people become the assistant coaches. This is good stuff I'm teaching you. All right. Assistant coaches. These are the ones that's going to help you as the coach. All right. In your strategy to help your young person win. All right. Because the more kids can see positive influences over and over and over, like a lot of people will say in certain communities, kids don't have positive influence, but then they come to their programs and they still don't give them positive influences. You should be continually trying to recruit people to be able to come in and work and inspire young people, because people's words are going to do much more than us, our day to day. You know, we got this assignment to do and that assignment to do. Sometimes it could be one statement that somebody says that tips it for that young person. So you want to keep them surrounded with assistant coaches, because a coach can't win a football game. Look at that game last night, Super Bowl. And all them dudes that were, and I must be honest with them, some brothers that were out there, all his coaches were African-American, Aryans coaches. And those guys, man, they were coaching. They were coaching and beat that Kansas City team that people thought was going to be unbeatable. See why? Because it wasn't Arians. You didn't see the camera span on him too much. It was all those assistant coaches. All those assistant coaches. Hey, Mr. Matthews, how you doing? And so we got to realize that we, as a parent, we got to get behind our children's giftings. You know, if we're in programs, we need to find ways to get people involved that can inspire our young people to maximize their potential. And the last thing is this: give your children room to grow. You know, people said to me, how in the world did you let your daughter go all the way to Kenya at 14? She went with a group, an organization, someone we trusted, but she went with them. And a lot of people said, man, you let your daughter go where? I even had friends that would say, you let your daughter do what? And I said, let me tell you something. Yeah, I'm a daddy. And yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I said, but I'm raising a world changer. And I can't block her from world changing. I can't be so nervous that you can't go within 10 feet outside of our home. How's she going to change the world if we don't let her go? You know what I mean? I sent my son, he would go to different camps, and, you know, he went to, you know, pre-college and spent a whole month in Florida before he went to college. And, you know, my youngest son has been on his own on flights and things like that. And people say, I'm never going to do that with my child. Well, I'm telling you, if you're going to raise a world changer, you have got to, you know, you can't stifle their growth. I'm not saying that you turn them over to the wolves, and I'm not saying you do anything that's dangerous. And some would think that maybe letting the child go all the way across the world is dangerous, you know. But what I do know is you just saw that interview, and you saw what the outcome of that decision was. It's because, you know, I could have easily, and believe me, I thought about it many times. I was like, I don't know about this. Now, I would, you know, she would fly it over, and sometimes she wanted to fly back. I would never let her fly by herself. So it was either I would fly over and pick her up, or my wife would fly with her and go with her. So we put precautions in place. But the reality of the fact is, you know, we weren't going to stifle her. And when she herself, and she nailed it. I mean, she did it, and she was perfect at it. And so, you know, and now she can travel all over the world without you know, something. You know, a lot of kids can't even travel within 3 blocks of their home. This girl travels all over the world. And so do all my children. They're very comfortable traveling on their own. And so we can't stifle our children's growth. And so, you know, again, in programs, stretch them sometime, give them opportunities to advance themselves, give them some situations and scenarios that's outside of their box to help them to see their true potential. Because a lot of times they come in, they'll say, I can't do this and I can't do that, because that's what they've heard all of their lives. But when you tell them they can, everything changes. And so I'm at 10:34. I like to go half an hour at max with these. So let's get some champion kids out here. You know what I mean? Literally, I'm a big believer in it. I got a lot of programs coming up. We're doing motivational online workshops with young folks, and in trainings, and what we call our passion mapping workshops. And so we do all that stuff. I always tell people that's what we do. You know, I just don't sit on LinkedIn and create videos. I do own a company, and that's my company, CoachDSpeaks.com. You know, actually I wrote that in there wrong. We do training and development, and but everything we do is purposeful. It's purposeful, which means that we're doing it with purpose in mind. We're not just doing it because we got nothing better to do. You know, we believe that our work has social value in its social mission. So we're social entrepreneurs. Sophia, a website, if you want to take a look at that, is coming up in just a moment. And that's her web, NgomaKenya.org. And so go on there and take a look at what she's doing, and tell her you're proud of her. I mean, You know, and you look in the news every day, it's nothing but negative news about young people. All you hear all day long, negative, 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 negative. Yeah. So I know who that Let's Go is. I don't see the name, but my man Pierre, I know that's you, brother. That is your tagline, my man. Yeah, we do rebuild leaders, man. And I need to talk to you, by the way. Something came up today. We need to touch base after I'm done with this. But Pierre Campbell is one of my business partners and friends, and he calls me his mentor. But I said, them days are over, man. I'm done. I'm done mentoring you, brother. You mentoring me now. Dude is amazing, man. He really is. And so we're raising champions in our home, and we're inspiring young people out here to maximize their potential outside of our home. Again, we do workshops, training programs. We work with educators. I've been a keynote speaker at all the education conferences. I mean, multiple times over, many youth conferences. I've been doing this stuff for 20 years, man, over 20 years. And boy, we've seen a lot of lives change. But I do know this. Lives don't get changed until people are intentional about changing them. You can't wing it, okay? You can't wing it when it comes to this stuff. You need to be strategic. You need to be strategic, all right? And you need to be focused. So we want the motivation because that's what we give. We give a lot of that, but you also need structure. Like that HYPE program, Helping Youth Pursue Excellence, that program I was telling you about, our workforce program, was one of the best programs in the United States, not because of coach coming in motivational every day. It was coach and his team being strategic every day. Focus, plan of actions. How do we interact? What's the culture like? We drive the culture, not the emotions. You know what I mean? You know, and so, yeah, Sean, I haven't partnered with not Obama's, unless, you know, my business is all about people connecting us. So if you have a connection there, that's fine. I would, you know, love to connect with them, but I don't even know who I heard of them before, but would love to, you know, if you have any connections or know of someone. And I'll say that to anyone listening. You know, we know a lot of people. We've done a lot of work, but a lot of our work is driven by people who know people who tell people. And so if you think this information, for instance, was valuable, this video can be shared. Okay. So share it with people. Hey, you know, I saw this video on raising and teaching champion children. You need to take a look at this. Share it with organizations that you know. Share it with school districts. Share it with parent organizations. Because the word only gets out when other people share it. You know what I mean? We share a lot and we, you know, get a lot of response from that. But I'm familiar with the Promise Brothers Keeper. One of my good friends in Syracuse, Joe Horan, who I just was with his team this weekend, does a lot with the Brothers Keeper program. And so I'm very familiar with it. It's a great program. So here's the deal. Now, let me say this before I go, because I think it's important. These are all kids. Yes, Brothers Keeper is primarily for our kids, Black kids, African American. But I inspire Asian, African American, Caucasian, across the board. All of our young people need structure and systems and motivation to maximize their potential. Now, I do a lot of work, of course, because of who I am with our kids, you know, kids of color. But the reality, yeah, okay, very good, very good. I would love to talk to you about that and see if we can maybe be some synergy there around that. So listen, gotta go. Look at this Friday around noon. We're going to be doing some new stuff around equity. And so I'll be putting that up recently. When you see soon, when you see it, definitely, I'm telling you, it's going to be like a lunch and learn format for about a half an hour. But we're going to be sharing some solid information because I'm tired of, you know, everybody's doing diversity, equity, and inclusion nowadays in these organizations and companies. But the reality, you know, is the reality is this: there's a better way to go about it. And Pierre and I have been doing some really innovative stuff. Pierre Campbell, some really innovative stuff that we need. I would love for you to kind of get a taste of some of that on Fridays for just a little bit, but also learn some new knowledge that could be helpful on a personal and professional level, because we have a great opportunity to shift our country in a major way when it comes to diversity in these, you know, during the times we're in now. And the reality, if people have struggled with this, that don't want to see this as a problem, that's why we got to do this. The reality is, because if we can't see all human beings as equal and see the potential in other people that don't necessarily live where I live or look like I look, we got a problem that needs to be worked on. You know what I mean? Until we can get to the point where people can see everyone is equal and there's equal opportunity and access, we got to keep teaching, we got to keep training, we got to keep going at this, because hopefully that this tide will shift in our country and we'll see some neat things happen where there'll be more opportunities for career life advancement for Black and brown people. So thank you, Hamo. Appreciate that. I got to go, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I do, I thank God for my wife and I and what we're doing. And but I give God the glory really for a lot of it. And because, that's just why I'm as a believer. But yeah, we do have a plan. We're very strategic, and I shared a little bit about it today. So share this with people, please. Go let them know. Don't always tell people, don't keep us a secret. Folks know folks, share it. You know what I mean? And tell people who we are, what we do, and see if we could be of help. All right. And stand by for more good information coming out about some of the other things we'll be doing. All right. And for those who want to know, yes, I am in my man cave. That's my Reggie White jersey right there. And the greatest team in football. Unfortunately, we won our only Super Bowl 3 years ago. Chances are we ain't gonna win one no time soon. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Rochelle. All right, y'all, take care. And again, make sure you share with other folks. Bye now. Bye-bye. Thank you, Rachel. Bye now. I didn't even know you were on, Rachel. Take care. Bye-bye.